Welcome to this UpGoWise masterclass. Take a deep breath. We're looking at better than before. If your daily systems keep breaking down, you need better than before. Today, we are exploring Gretchen Rubin's fascinating book, Better Than Before, because if you're just trying harder, you're missing the entire point of Better Than Before. Gretchen Rubin doesn't want you to just grit your teeth and push through the noise. She offers a precise biological look at why we fail when life gets loud. So settle in. This explainer is going to fundamentally change how you view your own daily routines. We all know this exact, brutal reality, don't we? You buy that brand new planner. The calendar is packed, the habit tracker is totally spotless on Monday morning. But by Thursday, the promise just thins out. It unravels, and right on cue, that inner voice whispers, well, I know the system, I just don't have the discipline to stick to it. Look, we are going to collapse that false belief right now. That scarcity pain you're feeling, it has absolutely nothing to do with a lack of drive. It's actually just showing you what your habit is made of under pressure. And Gretchen Rubin knows this. She doesn't kick off this book by demanding more willpower from you. Instead, she asks this brilliant cold question: what makes you think one rule should fit two unlike lives? Think about it. We just assume that if a 5 a.m. ice bath routine works for some internet fitness guru, it's absolutely going to work for us. And if it doesn't, we think we're the problem. But Rubin shifts the focus entirely. The failure isn't your lack of discipline. It's the incredibly poor fit of the rule you chose. Let's just sit with this realization for a second, because it's a heavy one. A broken habit is actually a working system for a hidden reward. Yeah, you heard that right. If late-night doom scrolling keeps winning, it's probably giving you some much-needed mental relief after a crazy day. If the messy desk keeps winning, it's secretly saving you from the sheer exhaustion of deciding what project to tackle next. In this book, we learn a massive truth. A habit problem isn't a promise problem. It's a self-knowledge mechanism under stress. All that friction you feel, it's just data. So what usually happens when a habit fails, we fall straight into a false dilemma. We think we have to either build stricter rules or just offer ourselves way more mercy. But here's the thing, both of these entirely miss the mark. Stricter rules treat you like a simple machine that just needs tighter gears. Loose mercy treats you like a fundamentally broken machine. Neither side actually stops to ask what your specific biological boundary can comfortably hold on a normal Tuesday. And this brings us to the core anchor of our explainer. Stop thinking of your habits as rigid walls or cages. Think of them as a living cell membrane. In biology, a cell membrane has what's called selective permeability. It's a living boundary. Under pressure, it lets chosen nutrients pass through with very low drag, before any internal debate even starts, while naturally keeping the toxins out. That's exactly what your habits need to be. A customized border built for your specific life that lets the good in and keeps the noise out. This brilliantly illustrates why a one-size-fits-all membrane is absolutely guaranteed to fail. In this book, Rubin maps out the 4 tendencies. Let's break it down. Upholders easily accept both inner and outer rules. Questioners need logic. They accept inner rules but resist outer ones. Obligers, they need external accountability, resisting inner expectations but totally meeting outer ones. And rebels, well, they resist everything. If you're an obliger, you move when an external expectation has weight. Borrowing a rebel's need for pure autonomy is a biological mismatch. Your membrane will just collapse. So, when a habit snaps, stop blaming yourself. Start treating it like a map. You need to ask yourself, where exactly did the act snag? Did it snag at the specific hour? Was it the environmental cue? Was it the people sitting near you? Or maybe it snagged at the false prize of just keeping things totally vague. You see, this book asks you to become exact, not intense. If a 6 a.m. workout fights your natural energy, just move the hour. Exactness is actually a form of kindness. Treat the friction as clues, not as a character flaw. Remember, a cell membrane is not a wall. It is a living border. Let's just hold that paradox for a moment. If a cell is too open, it dissolves. If it's too closed, it starves. A living border keeps the entire organism alive by selectively choosing what gets to pass. You have to look at your own unique tendency we just discussed and ask, what kind of life should become less negotiable for me? Now, this brings us to a huge misconception. We all have this voice inside that says, hey, I want more options because options make me feel free. I wish this weren't true, but this book absolutely collapses that belief. Rubin proves that having too many options just forces a daily vote. A vote you were going to have to win again and again against your own exhausted self. True freedom actually expands when the right limits shrink those daily decisions.
chosen limits aren't the enemy of freedom. They're exactly how we stop our freedom from leaking away.
Let's look at a practical example, the classic just one cookie lie we all tell ourselves. Rubin splits us into abstainers and moderators. For an abstainer, a single clean no is incredibly easy. Attempting just one episode of a TV show, that's a trap leading straight to a 3 a.m. binge. But for a moderator, a hard no actually makes the forbidden thing glow and sparks total rebellion. They need measured permission. It's the exact same goal, but it requires entirely different gates depending on your fundamental nature. Which leads us to this sharp reality check. You do not build habits to prove you are free. Actually, you build habits because you are fundamentally unfree as long as every single action remains up for internal debate. A habit is simply how you release your own strength by ending that debate in advance. It's a border that respects and protects the life inside it.
Let's track how a broken habit actually plays out in real life. You start in the bright room. You're rested, highly motivated, and you make the pledge. But the execution? That has to happen in the dim room, when your willpower is totally faded. The action fails. And then comes the true, silent cost of a broken habit. The courtroom. You become the judge, the witness, and the accused all at once. The real damage isn't a skipped workout. It's the exhausting self-noise and the continuous internal trial that follows.
Here is the second major dilemma this book exposes. Do you endlessly search for the perfect method, or do you just wait around for the perfect mood? Both of these paths completely ignore the reality of your tired self on a random Tuesday night. The method has to fit the exhausted you. And let's be honest, the mood is never going to sign a binding contract. Fit always beats force, because fit survives the days when force completely forgets to show up. Confession time. We often keep our habits abstract because as long as the habit is vague, the failure stays vague too. A real physical cue strips away that shelter. So, this book gives us concrete hinges. Pair the new habit with a fixed daily event, like brushing your teeth. Put the physical cue literally in your direct path. Cut the snack choice way before hunger even strikes. Track the exact point where you lie to yourself. You want your bright room self to build a plain, obvious path that your dim room self can effortlessly walk down. Make the good path completely clear and the bad path insanely clumsy. Better Than Before is not asking you to become intense. It asks you to become exact. Think back to that Thursday thinning we talked about at the very beginning. That fade was never proof that you're weak or lacking worth. Not at all. It was simply proof that your habit membrane had too many holes and that you were asking the wrong person's border to protect your life. You have to design for your real nature. Stop borrowing a stranger's system and find the gate that you can actually keep. A habit is just how a core value becomes less fragile. Stop stealing tools from entirely different nervous systems. It's time to build the biological boundary your specific life needs to thrive. Go to upgowise.com right now and access your personal growth map. Before tomorrow, choose one stalled habit and write down the exact condition that breaks it. Then, place a single cue for that habit exactly where the break always starts. If not, you've chosen this cycle. 300 seconds, do this action. Without it, the signature fades.